Eric Williams of Fox Sports joins us. Thank you so much, Eric, for jumping on with us. Short notice. How are you, Eric?
What's up, fellas? Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Not a whole lot. living the dream.
You're chill right now, Eric, but I'm happy and excited and shocked because I didn't know you're gonna jump on the show. So for now, I say, hey, we got a surprise guest. I'm like, oh, who could it be? Don't tell me your brother Dan and Dago. I don't want to hear Dan right now. He's too loud. I don't care what time of day it is. It's too loud. But when I saw your face, Eric, I'm excited. Thank you for being on.
You're welcome. You know me, Gil. I'm like smooth R&B. I'm just kind of
yeah. Like, I love
Eric's
it.
all about that Drake.
Yeah, I'm definitely on that Drake. On that Sade, man.
Eric, obviously the draft is coming up. One of real quick. This guy's an OG. He brings the heat. There you go, Eric. You bring the heat.
We'll see. I got one more arm up.
It depends what day it is, Eric, for the heat.
I need some icy hot.
Eric, the draft is this Thursday. Just what are your thoughts? I mean, obviously everybody expects Caleb Williams to go 1. Yeah. After that, what are your thoughts about what happens next in the draft?
Yeah, I think, for me, the interesting thing is the receivers. We haven't had a group like this, for a long time. You look at 3 of the top 10 prospects. When you rate them, you look at, the draft analysts and how they're rating them. Are in the top 10. You obviously start with Marvin Harrison, who has that legacy. His dad is a Hall of Famer. But then a lot of people have really been talking about Malik Neighbors and his explosiveness and his speed. And then Rome Odunze is probably the safest out of the 3 because you just kind of know what you're going to get. The production is there. He has a high IQ, big, strong guy. He can play outside, play inside. So I think not only those top 3, but there's a number of receivers that could end up in the first round, and they could set a mark historically. I think it's 7 was the most that's went in the modern draft era. We could see 8 go in the first round because there's so much talent there, and passing league, all that. Teams are looking for playmakers. So that to me stands out. Offensive tackle class stands out. There's probably going to be 5 or 6 that go in the first round. Probably not going to see a running back go in the first round or a safety when you look at, 2 running backs going in the first round last year, and Bijan Robinson and Jamar Gibbs. And then, where are the quarterbacks going to land? Obviously, we have to talk about quarterbacks. We think they're going to be in the top 3 picks, and maybe J.J. McCarthy sneaks in there at number 4 with the potential for 6 quarterbacks to go in the first round. But to me, I think Penix and Knicks are kind of being pushed up a little bit. I don't think they're going to go in the first round. I think those are going to be second-round picks. With Penix, I think it's obviously the injury piece, 2 ACLs, shoulder. I think that sounds more like a second-round pick. And I think with Bo Nix, it's just does it make sense? Is he first-round worthy, or is it going to be like Will Levis where he falls into the second round, or has been ranked as a second-round pick? And just with all the scuttlebutt and all the talk in the last week, guys are pushed up.
Does he drink mayonnaise with his coffee?
That's nasty.
That's what Will Levis does. So
that's why he fell in the second round.
I know why you're throwing that out there. And Fernando, I expect that out of you. Eric, hopefully he does not drink mayonnaise in his coffee.
Nobody, please don't do that anymore. But Eric, because you keep an eye on the West Coast teams very, very closely, and you mentioned Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. Like, I guess if you're the Raiders and the Broncos, if you try not to get desperate or reach, like, what do you do? Like, for a quarterback, do you kind of just wait for the board to fall your way? Or what do you do with the first round picks?
I think you have to. I think you have to get playmakers if you're going to select a guy in the first round. And I think you saw it with the moves that they've made. The Raiders signed Minshew. The Broncos made a trade for Zach Wilson. So that's kind of telling you that maybe they're not as high on these guys that are coming up in the draft, and are kind of protecting themselves a little bit to make sure that if they don't get the guy that they want, they already have somebody, already on their roster. The Seahawks went and made the trade for Sam Howell. And that kind of lets you know that, hey, maybe we're not as high on a quarterback, and we kind of already got our young developmental project.
We told the moms in Denver or kids to hide their moms in Denver because Zach Wilson's on his way over there.
Yeah.
Cougar alert.
Exactly. Everybody be careful.
I think Fernando's the one that's on the heater on fire. He was talking about
Uh-oh.
Mile City MILF Hunter is what I call him. Mile High City MILF Hunter. There you go. That's what he's going to be out there.
You know, I'm not touching that, Fernando.
No. Keep it moving, Fernando.
Eric, you cover both the Chargers and the Rams as well as the NFC and the AFC West.
Mhm.
When you look at the Chargers, obviously a lot depends on what happens with Arizona.
Yeah.
Do you feel like first with that, do you feel like Arizona stays? And if they don't trade out, what do you think happens? Do you think they trade out or not?
Yeah. Arizona has 11 picks, so they need to like get premium players, and the best way to do that is to get them high in the draft. So they did that last year, which is understandable because they're trying to get as many picks as possible. But with 11 picks already, I think they need to stay and just get good, solid players to add to their core. Kyler Murray needs somebody to throw the ball to. So to me, it's a no-brainer. You take Marvin Harrison Jr., you throw him in the lineup, and you go play football. And you know, I think it makes sense for the Chargers if that's what happens, and the Cardinals just take a receiver that they want to move down because they need more picks. You know, they're starting that rebuilding process with Harbaugh and Joe Horitz as their GM, and so they need more bites at the apple. And if there's a team that's willing to come up and they could kind of drum up enough, you know, interest to get a couple picks and move down and still get an offensive lineman, which I think is their top need, I think it makes a lot of sense. With the depth at receiver, I know a lot of Chargers fans are screaming Marvin Harrison or Neighbors, get a playmaker. We just like Keenan Allen. Where did you draft Keenan Allen? In the third round.
Yeah.
You know, you got a number one receiver in the third round, and guys like Malcolm Floyd have not been high picks for this franchise in years past. So you can get a good receiver that could come in and be productive in the later rounds. You need to get that offensive line shored up so that Justin Herbert is protected. You can run the football. And then you can find, again, a lot of depth in this class. You know, Puka Nacua was a fifth-round pick for the Rams. So I think they just have to be patient and do a great job in terms of the Chargers, scouting the board and find a receiver that can help them. And then you also have to develop Q. You know, Q obviously didn't play up to his potential last year, but he's still young. A lot of people aren't talking about it, but Sanjay Lal is a legit receiver coach in this league. And the Seahawks really worked hard to bring him back because he had such a good relationship with DK Metcalf. And so I think he's a guy that can maybe come in and develop that young receiver.
What happens in our Hermosa Beach?
That's Thursday, right? That's
Yeah.
where the Rams are going to be.
Yeah.
You saw that tweeted out the draft
I
house.
did.
Yeah,
I was expecting Sean McVay to be without a shirt on and just chilling there and taking the sun in. Or
I thought maybe you're going to bring your thong bathing suit and you're going to come out there.
There he is.
Hey, you really want to see this in a Speedo, especially now. Maybe a couple months ago you wouldn't have, but now
I love the confidence.
It's getting
you slim and trim, Fernando.
But what do you think? Because they haven't had a first round draft pick since 2016 when they selected Jared Goff, and I mean, you can say that it was a good pick or not. It goes either way, but but just what are your thoughts about what the Rams do there?
Well, obviously no Aaron Donald, so you think they're maybe looking at defensive tackle to come in. You're not going to replace Aaron Donald, but you need to have numbers in there to figure out what kind of scheme you want to run. So that makes sense. Or an edge rusher, you know, layout 2, lot 2 maybe makes sense at 19. I think they're going to move up though. You know, they have 11 picks, and I think they feel like they're at a point where they can compete with San Francisco if they add the right pieces. So to me, I think if Cooper DeJean is there and you have to move up a couple spots to get him, they need help in the secondary, and I think he makes sense for them because of his versatility. He can play that star position that Jalen Ramsey played, so he can play inside, he can play on the perimeter, he can play safety. You know, they had another versatile guy that helped them win a Super Bowl a couple years ago in Eric Weddle. That was a smart, high IQ guy that had some playmaking ability, could take the ball away, and then he's also a guy that can return kicks and punts as well. So to me, I wouldn't be surprised if they see him sitting up there in the teens and they move up and get him.
I like that, Eric. Yeah, I was gonna say a white cornerback. You got to make history, and that
I know.
for a first rounder. But I like it because Eric, people get so caught up on the free agency moves, like, oh, they got Tre'Davious White, Darius
Yep.
Williams, they got a safety Cam Curl. They're okay in the second down. Like, you got to get younger in this league.
Yeah.
They get hurt pretty often, so I do like that pick from them. But let me ask you a question about the GMs, Eric, especially in the AFC West. Which GM has the most at stake or the most pressure to actually deliver something good for this April?
How about the dude in Denver?
Is it Sean Payton or George Payton?
Payton, however you want to say his name. I mean,
or Patton. There you go.
Patton, yeah. Patton and Payton.
Your boy Russ, Fernando's boy Russell Wilson was a
That's your boy.
Broncos country, let's ride. Yeah. He's riding out to Pittsburgh.
What's the new one?
Steel City.
The new one. Steel City. Is that what he's saying?
I don't know.
Did you see that video of him working out inside the gym with sunglasses on?
Yeah, well, Corey Hart wears his sunglasses at night. But I do think there's some pressure on him because, it didn't work out with the quarterback. It didn't work out with the head coach. And now you bring in Sean Payton, who's probably got all the juice there. So, at some point, if things don't go well, I would think he's the next person on his way out. So they need to hit in this draft.
Just Eric, what's one of your, give us a spin, something wacky that happens in this draft.
Something wacky that happens. Wow.
Or maybe a player that we're not like, we're like, oh, wow, a surprise or something.
Yeah, I don't have anything off the top of my head.
Black and gold, ready, go.
I'm not sure. I mean, obviously players are going to move up and down. There is going to be a player that falls that we don't expect. And there's going to be a player that's drafted high that maybe we're not figuring that to be drafted high. I do have a sense that the defensive tackle out of Texas, Murphy, is going to go higher than maybe people expect. And I say that because there's not that many highly rated defensive tackles out there, and those guys have such a big impact on the game. So maybe that guy is a guy that goes, in the singles, goes 7 or 8 versus going in the teens. Maybe he's a person that rises. And then like I talked about, I think Cooper DeJean is going to go higher than people expect. And a lot of people think he's going to go in the 20s. I think he's going to go in the teens.
Are you going to be in Hermosa Beach or Costa Mesa?
I'm going to be in Hermosa Beach on Thursday, and then I'm going to try to make it to Costa Mesa on Friday. Are you going to be in Costa Mesa?
Yeah, let's do Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be there Friday.
You're carpooling?
Yeah, most likely. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Last one for me. Just are you kind of, I mean, in a sense, kind of excited to see the Jim Harbaugh draft after so many years of him not being there?
I'm excited to see Jim himself. What kind of khakis are we going with? He
has a tattoo.
He's tatted up. So is he going to be showing it off? Is he going to have his shirt rolled up like Grease, or is he going to wear a tank top? What's the attire going to be that Jim rolls out with? Because it's going to have charges on it, because that's how he rolls. He wears team issued stuff because he's saving the loot. He's about that life of wearing the team issued material. And then push-ups. How many push-ups is he going to do? When we see him.
I can't wait to see the phone call between him and whatever player they draft, and he just gets all excited and, man, I'm so excited to get you in here and this. And I think that's gonna be
that's must-see TV.
Eric, last one for me or for us. Thank you so much for jumping on short notice. What round do you think the first running back gets drafted, and who do you think it is?
I'm gonna say third round.
Whoa.
Yeah, Jonathan Brooks out of Texas has the ACL knee injury, so I have him sliding a little bit. Perhaps he goes in the second. I think it could go day 2, but I have him going in the third.
No Blake Corum to the Chargers at any point?
Maybe in the third or fourth round. I'm just
who I like for
this year's running back class.
Audric Estime is a guy that I think he would benefit from a Jim Harbaugh style of system, but yeah, I definitely. We'll see what happens. But Eric, thank you so much for jumping on with us. I'm sorry that Daniel's not here because I know you. That's your guy. So
that's the reason I came on at such short notice. I thought Daniel was going to be here and we were going to have a conversation.
he's still coaching at a location that he does not let us disclose. But he said, yeah,
That's
he's
smart.
been working late lately. But I'm telling you, Eric, we'll get you on with Daniel for sure.
Okay, maybe I'll see him on Friday.
No, I think he'll be at work. So yeah, no, that one. Yeah,
right.
I know.
Busy man.
Hey, one day I told him, I'm like, it'd be cool to get you and Jim Harbaugh on a podcast. Just you two, let the mics fly, and let's see what we get from that magic right there.
Yeah, that would be interesting for sure.
Eric, much love.
Gil,
Thank
am I
you
going to
so
see you
much.
on Friday?
No, I'll be staying at home from the comfort of my home.
He wants to watch on Thursday. He wants to watch Bill Belichick on
Yeah,
Pat
that's
McAfee
why. Yeah,
show. That's why he's staying.
show off the rings, you know.
Yeah, I got you.
Thank you, Eric, so much.
You, Eric.
That's Eric D. Williams. You guys know him. You guys love him. We love him as well. Make sure you guys check out everything he does. Thank you, Eric.
Appreciate you guys.